Keep talking right into it.
Talking right into it.
Talking.
Keep talking.
There we go. That's
Talking.
right.
Right into it.
Right into it.
Okay. Better. Much better.
Left into it.
Right into it.
Maybe it's kind of a mix.
I don't know. I don't care. And with that, welcome.
What are we doing this week, bud?
Today, we're going to be talking about, well, how about this? I'm going to break it down for you.
No, just fucking tell us.
All right, this is going to be called...
No, I want to hear him rap it.
There once was a ghost named Philip Adelson. He was made up by a bunch of people.
So,
I don't know.
the
All
pact
right.
from the end of Ghost Rider?
Nope. This is called, well,
1,000 souls.
just like making a murderer, we're making a ghost. This is the story of the Philip experiment.
Okay.
Now, Merriam-Webster's definition of a ghost is the soul of a dead person believed to be inhabited or to be an inhabitant of the unseen world or to appear to the living in bodily likeness. That's the Merriam-Webster definition of things.
Here, wait, let me make a note. Ghost is ghost.
Now, these are going to be important later. Now, the definition of a spirit, also classified by the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is a noisy, that's not it, a supernatural being or essence, the immaterial intelligence or sentience of part of a person. A poltergeist definition from the Merriam-Webster is a noisy, unusually mischievous ghost held to be responsible for unexplained noises. The noisy part of the definition comes from the original German translation of knocking spirit.
Knocking boots.
Knocking spirit.
It's like
that
always.
happens before the knocking boots.
It's banging, man. Anyway, so, the knocking spirit, who knows if that's a translation? You never know if it's one of those things where it's like, do they think it's an actual spirit that goes around and knocks on stuff? Or is it a spirit that, they're just like, oh, you got poltergeist activity in your house when it's just like, wood settling or somewhere. And they're just like, it's the noise, it's the knocking spirit.
That one.
Spirit of knocking. I don't know. That's just something
What
to
the
think
fuck
about.
was that?
What was that?
That was this.
Oh,
Sure.
My foot.
Sure.
gotcha.
Now, I'll get into why these definitions might be important throughout the episode, but
Sounds
let's go
good.
into it. Because we're going to be talking about the parapsychology trial called the Philip experiment, which you already know about. Anyway, during
I've never heard of it in my fucking life.
You've never heard of it? Not a lot of people have, I don't think. So during the early 1970s, the Toronto Society for Cyclical Research, PSYCHICAL, cyclical research.
Circles.
Cyclical. I'm looking to you, bud. What do I?
Mate, I don't know.
It's
These
like
are organizations
it's
that
like
don't pop up in my
psychical
spheres.
research. Anyway, but during the 1970s,
I think they probably made it up, to be honest with
cyclical. Anyway, well, it's like
cyclical, if it's actually cyclical. Are you trying to say something with
no,
a
it's
PSY?
PSY, yes.
Yeah, no, they made that up.
Cyclical, physical, whatever. Research put together a small tested group of people in an attempt to mentally manifest a spirit. Mentally manifest a spirit.
Okay.
Now would be the time for some ad-libs, boys.
Mentally manifest.
That's no.
You don't believe in
I
mentally
mean-
manifesting a spirit?
I
Something
kind of
that's
think
fake?
most
Yeah.
spirits are mentally manifested, in fact.
Your brain plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about here is them actually willing the existence of a being into existence.
Okay. That sounds pretty badass. How do we do that? I
All right.
would love to play God.
Well, we're going to tell you how that happened. So the overall purpose and hypothesis was to see that if mere thought or conception of such a metaphysical being could really bring it to fruition.
And what was their basis for this? They won it? Like what?
Well, that's
Did they
I guess
have something going in, or were they just like, wouldn't it be cool?
I think that that's what I believe the experiment was just like. So one of the main guys in here was supposedly a poltergeist expert.
Okay.
So we're gonna break that down.
When I think of poltergeist, I think of a bird.
Why?
I don't know.
I think of the movie Poltergeist, but I'm curious why you think bird.
It sounds like a bird.
A poltergeist?
red-breasted poltergeist.
Right.
I guess, if you... Anything sounds like a bird if you think it sounds like a bird. Huh?
Not Patrick.
No, not that. I guess. That's funny. Anyway, there were 8 participants in the experiment, of which consisted 5 women and 3 men.
And all of them just kind of sat in a room, kind of looked constipated, and tried to make a ghost. What'd they do?
You'd actually be surprised. Well, okay, so let me just...
obviously
I'm just going to go... of the 8...
So they tried to manifest a spirit.
Yes, they tried to manifest a spirit. Now, we're going to get into how that went down. So, of the 8 participants, there was Dr. Alan Robert George Owen, also known as
Tell him
ARG.
to pick 2. Shit.
Doctor.
Is he a self-proclaimed doctor?
No.
Is he a self-proclaimed 4-name owner?
No. Well, I don't know why it's it's Alan Robert George Owen, but they call him Dr. ARG Owen.
Yeah, does he have a last name anywhere?
Owen.
Yeah.
Because it's the last of all the
sure.
names. Anyway, so Dr. Alan Robert George Owen was titled as the group's scientific advisor. Now, he had been...
Robert, George, and Owen. 4 of the 5 test subjects were just the doctor's personalities.
But anyway, he had been a graduate of Cambridge, where he did research at Trinity College as a mathematical geneticist.
You're very nearby to manifesting spirits with your mind.
I know.
Right
I don't...
Mathematic genetics.
Genetics, yeah.
And I'm going to make a ghost with my mind. Those go hand in hand.
I won't lie. I
Anyone
don't know how
derivatives
all that
has
went down.
thought.
Anyhow, so he was the lead... he was the group scientific advisor.
He was the lead researcher.
Yes. Then the Iris Owens, happened to be his wife, the head participant of the project, and also
Well,
the
she
wife
only
and
have 2
colleague.
names.
I was about to say she lucked out with a normal quantity of
Yeah,
names.
well,
At least half of this family's cool.
you can only have so many. He's just like, I'll take all 4 of them.
Has he been married before? Didn't you just keep another last name for the hell of it?
Just like, this is my...
I really liked Robert.
He
and
was
George.
really just manifesting his children.
What?
Yeah, that's why he named himself.
I
4
do
different
like,
names.
though, he has 4 names that would work as first names.
That's what I said. Where's his goddamn last name?
Yeah. But anyway, Iris Owens was the head participant for the project and also the wife and colleague of him, Dr. Owen. There was a former chairman for Mensa, Margaret Sparrow. Mensa is...
Wait, really?
What?
Like the you have to take the test to get into
Yeah.
This became even dumber.
An organization known as the High IQ Society. That's what Mensa is. Are you looking at Mensa right now?
No, it sounds stupid.
I bet you we could pass the test if we did it. It's
Well,
not hard.
all I know is that it's just considered the High Society, or High IQ Society. There was Andy H. and his wife Lauren. I believe that he was an industrialist. He was an industrialist, yes.
From the late 1800s?
Well, no, so this took place... The experiment actually took place in the 1970s.
Was he in the industry of manifesting ghosts already? What did he do? How did he get like...
I don't know, Austin.
How'd they pick him up for this ghost manifesting?
I don't know, but all I know is that him and his wife, this industrialist's wife, they fucking were there.
Okay, hey man, you're telling me a story. I'm asking questions.
Hey, we
I'm not
still
getting
got
anything back.
We still got another 4 people to go here.
Potatoes.
We also
Get
got
on with it.
We also got Al Peacock, who was a heating engineer. He was a part of this.
You gotta have your HVAC. You can't manifest a ghost without proper air conditions.
Jesse, what do you think about all this? You've been rather quiet.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of ghosts?
No.
Okay.
Don't worry, they're manifesting a ghost.
Yeah.
So it's like pulling up a fart.
Anyway. Then we have, did I already say Al Peacock, a heating engineer? Yep.
did,
all right.
yes.
How about Dorothy O'Donnell, listed only as a bookkeeper?
Cool. So they had a bookie.
Yeah, a bookkeeper. We also have Bernice M., listed only as an accountant.
So they had 2 bookkeepers. They had 2 different bookies.
And then
Is
Sydney.
that where they got the drugs that made them think they could manifest a ghost?
And then Sydney.
Yeah, a bunch of Adderall.
Sydney Kay, who was listed as being a sociology student.
Social science is nice.
Yep. And then last but not least,
I
Dr.
can't wait to talk to the ghost once we manifest it. I want to know what makes it tick.
Well, you should, because it gets pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Man, Jesse. You know how many times I have to fucking cut that bullshit out of the gut? But anyway, last but not least is Dr. Joel Witten, a psychologist who was brought in to oversee the experiment. Now, I looked into him a little bit, and
Can I mention right now, none of these people are functional scientists. They're like social
Austin,
and
I don't know if you know
like
this.
they're not material scientists, I guess. Not
Yeah,
functional.
it's
'Cause
fake
they
science.
are functional,
It's not
but they're
all
not
fake.
material.
Well, yeah,
science.
what do you got to say about the
Mathematics
bookkeeper?
is a real thing.
What do you got to say about the bookkeeper? That's
Nothing.
not a science.
Hey, I'm not
Why do
te-
they have two bookies?
Don't ask me these questions. They're the one who
How
put
much
together.
debt were these
They
people
put
in?
they put it together.
Why are
I'm
they doing
just-
taxes?
I can't tell you why. Probably because they gotta, you know.
How
So-
else are you gonna coax a ghost back from the dead?
It's like
Oh, shit, I
launder
forgot
all
my
his
taxes.
Just the IRS just calls him up. It's like, sir,
We see you haven't paid your taxes since you died 12 years ago. We'd like you to pay that back.
okay, but I looked into, so just Dr. Joel Witten, I looked into him a little bit. Apparently he was intrigued with what happens
he
after
see-through?
death, and he believed in reincarnation. So I think that probably pushed him to want to figure out this.
You said
to
that
go
the
into this
experiment's
region.
Philip, right?
Yes, the Philip experiment.
Nobody here is named Philip,
I
right?
know, because
Phillips, the fucking thing.
you'll see. Now,
All right.
so okay, but now we're gonna get to it. In 1972, the TSPR, the Toronto
Toronto
Society
of made-up stuff.
for
Yes, for the non-existent
Technical
word.
sales
whatever
representative.
it was, what is it called? Hold on, I don't even remember now. Oh,
Your
the Toronto
cyclical-
Society for Cyclical
Yeah,
Research.
that's not a word.
Cyclical.
No,
what
it's spelled dumb.
They began what is known as the Philip experiment. In order to begin, the group needed to conjure this fictitious being that they knew.
See, fictitious.
I was
right
about
there.
to say it's in the
Well,
text.
yes,
now.
but it's because they have to manifest a fictitious. In order to begin,
I don't
the
have
group,
to manifest Paddington for him to be a fucking fictional teddy bear. Like, it's a fictional Philip. Keep
I know,
going.
but they're trying. But okay, so they would give. Anyway, so they conjured this fictitious being that they knew was all imaginative representation of a real being.
But
So, well,
So
to them,
they-
they'd have to make it real.
So they admitted
that it's
to
fake.
No, so
like groupthink that there was a thing
yes,
that there wasn't.
yes. So there is no actual guy.
So
named,
this is just this is a thought experiment about people forcing themselves to go crazy. That's what this
No.
is.
See, this is them bringing a ghost to life. So in order to, fuck off.
It's fake news. It's the fake news media. They're trying to tell you that Philip wasn't real, but he was real.
So they would give this person an extensive backstory, hopes, dreams, fears, and thus Philip Aylesford was born.
This is
So
also
they
how
just-
you write books.
They just make something up,
Yes.
and then manifest it.
Well, here. I will now read from the Reader's Digest Into the Unknown book in order to shed some light on how all this went down.
Did you purchase that on eBay?
It's a Christmas gift several years ago from my
Did they
grandma.
purchase it on eBay?
No, she probably went to a thrift store.
Close enough. It's
like-
got that thrift store
It's like
vibe.
it's like the real world eBay. All right.
The ringer.
I'm going to read the passage from this book now. One of the group members identified only as Sue. The mother of 3 boys and a former nurse with the Canadian Armed Forces, was given the task of conducting the basic life story of the Philip personality. She wrote, Philip was an aristocratic.
You didn't write this. You want me to read it?
Okay, Austin, mister. Here, I want you to read from one of the group members all the way to, he cast himself into a, so basically from that to the top
One of the group members, identified only as Sue, the mother of 3 boys, and a former nurse with the Canadian Armed Forces, was given the task of concocting the basic life story of the Philip personality. She wrote, Philip was an aristocratic Englishman living in the middle 1600s at the time of Oliver Cromwell. He had been a supporter of the king and was a Catholic. He was married to a beautiful but cold and frigid wife, Dorothea, the daughter of a neighboring nobleman. One day, when out riding on the boundaries of his estates, Philip came across a gypsy encampment and saw there a beautiful dark-eyed, raven-haired gypsy girl, Margot, and fell instantly in love with her. He brought her back secretly to live in the gatehouse near the stables of Diddington Manor, his family home. For some time, he kept his love nest secret in Diddington.
That should have been called Diddlington.
Diddlington. Diddlington Manor. That's where the Queen lives. Sorry. For some time, he kept his love nest secret, but eventually Dorothea, realizing he was keeping something else there, found Margot and accused her of witchcraft and of stealing her husband. Philip was too scared of losing his reputation and his possessions to protest at the trial of Margot, and she was convicted of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Philip subsequently was stricken with remorse that he had not tried to defend Margot and used to pace the battlements of Diddington Manor in despair. Finally, one morning, his body was found at the foot of the battlements, where he had cast himself in a fit of agony and remorse.
You never want
Boom.
burnt steak.
You never want burnt steak. What?
Although there exists a place called
What? No,
Diddington
you got
Hall in
okay,
Warwickshire.
all right. I guess he's just going to keep reading. You don't
I
have to
just
read
had
that
to
part.
say Warwickshire because
Yeah.
it gave me the option. Also, that sketch kind of looks like the guy from the Bee Gees.
How do you know it's not? That's where they are actual, they're just sort of like flipping through, like really important
You'll have to put that
musical
photo
figures. Oh, yes, I will.
in the like thumbnail so we can have the Bee Gees singer.
But so that is what they did. They went through and they decided to make up a bunch of stuff about him and gave him his.
I think this is just their imaginations.
No, it is. That's the point.
Exactly.
You're not getting the full story. We're not done yet. It's not all there. Wow, he does look like the fucking Bee Gees guy.
So if you're trying to figure out what Philip looks like, imagine Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees.
But yeah, so
in his prime.
They did. They put together a bunch of stuff. I did want to remark that the book. So when I looked up, it said that there were 8 members of this crew. None of them are named Sue. In that book, it literally says somebody named Sue came up with all of his shit. So let me just yeah.
I thought we were the ones who were supposed to tear holes in the story over time. But,
I mean, hey,
if you want to get it out of the way for us,
I'm just saying. I don't want to be like, look at that, and not be like, that's interesting. Because let's go over the people who are a part of this.
The purple people eaters. Let's go.
All right, we have Dr.
Fornars, his wife,
yes,
the couple nobody cares about, the
2
2 bookies,
yep. Al Peacock, the heating guy,
the HVAC dude,
Sydney, who's just going to school and's like, how did I fucking end up here?
And then one more person.
And I think, and that's the psychologist guy who's the overseer,
guy after the
Dr. Joel. So yeah, that's all 8 people. Nobody named Sue. The closest we have is Sydney.
What? I thought there was a Sue.
No. Well, no. Apparently in here it says literally.
Reader's Digest decided there was a Sue.
Yeah, it says. I think so. All of this was.
Pig?
Well, a big part of that was taken from the book that the guy actually wrote about this experiment called Conjuring Philip, or Conjuring Up Philip was the name of the book that Dr. Alan Owen Robert Alan
Robert Owen. What's his first name? What's his first name?
It's Alan Robert.
Just call him Doc.
Okay,
George. That's the one we were missing. George.
ARGO. Argo.
Good old Argo.
Dr. Argo.
My favorite oil.
Anyway, yeah, so it literally says, but it's from his book, so I don't know. Now apparently there's a Sue in here, but
You haven't read his book.
Mm-mm. It's called Conjuring Up Philip. So for all of you guys who want to get out there and learn more about this, just go get that book. Give Dr. Alan, George,
me into your Wi-Fi?
Robert, whatever. Oh my God, if you can get it, sure. I mean, man.
You're gonna have to edit this out.
I will.
He doesn't have to. We can keep it in if we make it entertaining, Jesse.
So
That's
yeah,
how you handle technical
Well,
difficulties.
all
You
about
make
the-
it entertaining.
You brought this technical difficulty. We're doing just fine.
Yeah, you bring a technical difficulty every time you decide your neck's too fucking important to turn. So
No.
it is the truth. I have to. Oh well, Andy blew out our ear fucking drums. Oh shit! What did I do? I didn't do it right.
See,
Tisk. Hey, how about this?
that's okay.
No, I get it for you.
I'll
It's
read
just a-
your spooky,
No, you
your
will.
spooky book later.
I'll give you something to read after
How
this.
much is it on Amazon?
After making the foundation for Philip, the team continued by making more in-depth research of the time period he lived in, poured over photographs and images of where and what he would have been, or where he would have been living, so on and so forth. This is where I give you the book back so you can read another passage.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, so you're going to go all the way up.
Present to me the tome.
Basically, you're going to read from the group members memorized. So pretty much read everything.
Oh dear. Okay. Is this copyright infringement? Do I have to do this in under 30 seconds?
Sure. Quick.
Uh,
No, just kidding.
Quick.
The group members memorized the fictitious biographical data about Philip, thought up still more details, studied the period during which he was supposed to have lived, and even acquired photographs of the real Diddington Hall
Oh,
and of the
just like I
surrounding
said.
countryside. They sought to create a collective hallucination of Philip by describing his appearance, food preferences, and especially his feelings to Dorothea and Margot, until they had created a complete mental picture of him, to which they could all subscribe. For months on end, the group of 5 women and 3 men did their best to conjure up their fake spirit. They placed a drawing of
Oh,
their would-be ghost
copyrighted.
in the center of
you
the circle
failed.
and mediated on his image. Later, in imitating the manner in which Victorian spiritualism sought to create a receptive atmosphere, they adopted a more relaxed and jolly attitude. The group's first ghost-like manifestation was a table knock that was felt rather than heard. All the participants noted the vibration. Next came a number of raps, as if someone had hit the table with that sick flow. At first, the participants
It did not
suspected
say
themselves.
that.
What are you talking about? At first, the participants suspected themselves of having inadvertently caused the knocks, but then, as the table started to move around the floor in an irregular, apparently aimless manner, they started questioning one another. Finally, a member asked, "I wonder whether Philip is doing this." In response, there was a very loud knock. The imaginary ghost, it seemed, had finally arrived. By asking questions and accepting 1 rap for yes and 2 raps for no, the group was soon enjoying a relatively rapid dialogue with the entity it had seemingly conjured up. The bizarre adventure quickly escalated. 1 room in the house was set aside for Philip, and the ghostly personality was accepted as a distinct entity that exhibited likes and dislikes, had strong views on some subjects, and was hesitant on others.
Really?
Yes.
And when Philip was asked whether his wife Dorothea refused to have children, scratching sounds were heard. One of the group said, "Perhaps he's trying to tell us we are getting too personal. Perhaps he doesn't want us to discuss all these personal details." The reply was a loudly rapped yes.
Oh, so he said yes through the rapping, or did he just like...
Remember, yes,
Oh.
no. So this happened, and they went, "My God!" Miss Owens and Sparrow, who the...
Margaret Sparrow, the one from Mensa.
Oh, good. Noted that the raps and movements of the table seemed to be very closely related, if not actually activated, by the knowledge, thoughts, will, moods, and power of concentration of each member of the group. If the group agreed on the answer to a question, the affirmative rap was quick and loud. When some members were in doubt, there was hesitation. As a rule, the raps occurred directly under the hand of the person asking a question. As the group became relaxed and started to enjoy their encounters with Philip, they began to react, entirely as if he were another member of the group. They teased him, joked, and flirted, but when Philip was told that if he did not reply, "We can send you away and get someone else," the rap stopped, and it was difficult to restore rapport. Nonetheless, the rapping and table movements continued, with the table reportedly rushing up to latecomers and occasionally tapping group members in a corner of the room, trapping group members, so that they were getting attacked by a spooky table.
I don't know, yeah, maybe.
They were trapping and rapping all night long.
Hot damn, what a house. In sum, the experimenters had succeeded beyond all expectation, although none understood how or why. As Mrs. Owens put it, "We clearly understand and have proved that there is no spirit behind the communications. The messages are from the group's subconscious, but it is the physical force we need to know more about." Here's your gigantic tome.
That's a book.
Well, I was going to go and now we're going to talk about what do you guys think? You guys don't believe it?
Are there more accounts than the book that you didn't read and this passage from this book you did read?
Oh, that's not the only thing I read. I read plenty about it, but I didn't find anything more about, like, much about motive or, like, more about actual findings.
Does it all sound like it's based on the same account from that book, and that's the only real account of it?
No, there's other ones, because this has been there was a bunch of people who were researching it because there's a bunch of movies that have been, like, based off of this.
Movies.
Yes. After the fact. So people went into depth about trying to go and research. Like the Quiet Ones.
Okay.
And there's another movie that was based off of it.
Okay.
I love that other one.
It's my favorite movie based off of it.
All right, so I'm like, hoax, possibly given the fact that not a lot of thorough or tangible evidence was collected. I was going to say that there was not a lot of thorough or tangible evidence, and even they claimed or didn't claim to have found much evidence in the way of things. And it's been, many have criticized for lacking solid controls during the experiment.
I was about to say, it doesn't sound like there was any sort of setup to any of it. It was just like, let's go into a room and start making a fan fiction about a 1600s dude.
now I just wonder, how would you go about it?
What if he had a fucking affair? That'd be cool, right? He could hide it in the fucking house. You know, that little one at the end of the driveway when you go to a fancy home? He's going to put her in there, and then the wife will find her, and then she'll get pissed, and he'll kill himself because she'll, like, leave or something.
Exactly.
I just did the whole experiment right there. Start wrapping the table.
I was going to say, how about you? Why don't you just tell me how you would set up that experiment? I'd love to hear about how you'd do that.
Well, I'd get to the conceptual hypothesis. Oh, hello. Wowza. I'd get to the conceptual hypothesis phase and go, this is pretty stupid, huh? And then I wouldn't do it.
All right, Jesse, how would you go about it? Because I know that
I would never do this.
You have scientific integrity.
I would not do this.
Why wouldn't you do this? Why?
Because why would you waste your time?
To find out if there's life after death.
No, but you made
But this was an
thing
experiment about group psychosis, not...
No, it's about if you can will a being.
It's not about a real person.
It's about willing a being into existence. Which
well, you
they
can't
seem
do
to
that.
have. They
the
just
end
did.
Of that was a subconscious thing.
Yeah. Well, here's that. Dr. Joel Witten oversaw the project, and he was interviewed and stated that they had placed paper doilies below participants' hands to show that they weren't moving the table or doing anything extraneous with their hands. So there was paper doilies that stopped.
Their knee?
There's what? Oh, their knee?
Or
from under the table?
They're massive.
About all of their other limbs.
I'm not sure. Just making sure that everybody in the room would be able to tell if they tried any funny business. I'm pretty sure there was no funny business at all. Now, going back to the definition of the ghost spirits and other things, it's my opinion that what the experiment actually did instead of manifesting a ghost was create a tulpa.
Topo Chico, I love it.
Oh my God! There's the 5 things that Jesse's heard this whole time. But a tulpan is an entity stemming from Buddhist lore. It's something that they would call what is it? Sorry, I have to look at an emanation body. So basically something that you could, create in your own mind. But a tulpa is a metaphysical being that's willed into existence through the creator through concentration. These beings...
Why would someone ever do this?
Well, it's one of those things where, like, children with imaginary friends, that sort of thing. But the whole thing is that they think that these beings can actually become sentient and, autonomous once the user is practiced or, has enough skill in meditation.
As per the wiki, I agree with Mr. Witten. The effects were produced by the participants as a subconscious defense mechanism, causing their behavior to regress to a childlike mentality.
Oh no, Dr. Witten, you just ruined it all.
That sounds much more plausible than spawning a Buddhist spirit.
Well, that's what they call it, but I'm thinking, because I've also heard that, like, you ever notice that poltergeists seem to become more active around, like, young children and
Chickens.
People who are more imaginative and may even possibly will something that they're not even fully aware of into existence?
You mean kids play pretend?
No, I mean that
Kids
kids
have
can
an
have
imagination?
such an imagination, in fact, that they can actually will real
Wasn't this like
physical
part of the
thing.
plot to Spy Kids?
I don't think so.
Spy Kids was real.
Yeah, wasn't Floop trying to make it so kids could imagine things, and then he
Those little
genetically
freaking
create
animals
'em?
were so sick. I always wanted like a little
Oh,
giraffe.
Wasn't that
Yeah.
like both of them, the first and the second one? Both scientists were like, "What if your mind could just make things?"
Yeah, go Robert Rodriguez. What a fucking pro. He made a movie for $7,000,
That's pretty good.
and then he went viral.
That's like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I guess so. But that was a senior thesis, I think, that went full. Or was it? It was something to do with a senior thesis.
It's
I
a
think.
great movie.
You would.
It was based off of the Philip experiment.
That's the other one. But,
Pedro never existed.
so yeah, let's get what do
They
you?
made up a backstory for him and then had him run for class president.
So after all that, like, so what are you thinking? Thinking that you could manifest a ghost?
I think I could go mad in a room with people, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I could manifest a ghost, no.
You don't think that with
How do you
enough
know they weren't doing drugs?
Well, I
It was
mean,
the 70s.
Yeah, but I
They
also
were doing drugs.
But that's the thing is like people
Lots of
don't all-
acid.
people don't all have the same exact experiences on like psychedelics.
I mean, there's not enough details here to say that they had the same exact
Not,
experiences.
not enough details to say that they didn't.
There's
have
no
it.
details.
Yeah, that
Are
is
you
true.
defending the Bible or
No.
the Philip experiment?
The Philip experiment mostly because I feel like I have to. But no, you're right, because there is like besides the book that the guy made and everything else, like all I found was the actual like talking points about it were all pretty much the same. There was no real new information. So unfortunately, I don't know, this seems a bit hokey. Even so, and I think I think it was a real experiment. I think that these people were looking for like actual things, and I think that they heard something. I don't know what it was or if it could have been, but
Maybe it was the sound of someone saying their made-up word in their name.
all I know is that I personally think that you could be able to will, because I have this belief in the power of the mind. Maybe not in this instance necessarily, but I don't think that.
You've been watching The Law of Attraction, have you?
No. Have you been? I used to watch The Law of Attraction. How do you think I got all my abundance I have in my life?
Yeah, like that Ferrari outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fucking 2 pools.
That Ferrari soul.
Yep. Yeah, Kia's
I
making
got a
some
strong
better stuff
Italian name.
Yeah, they are making some better stuff.
now. Yeah.
I
What do
really
you
like the Stingers.
What would you
Yeah.
guys think?
I like
though?
the Telluride.
Oh, that's the new one, right?
That thing's sick.
That's pretty good.
Just kidding. I didn't say anything.
No, you did say something. We were just finishing our quick Kia discussion.
Nah,
Yeah.
A Kia quickie.
Hey, you have your you enjoy yourself. Go ahead.
So, like I said, I feel like this experiment has probably been rerun more or less since, and it's just been like, oh, look, a group psychosis promoted by repeated bouncing back of
Drugs.
diminishing intellectual ideas, or the lack of stimulation. Like if this was actually a closed experiment and they're in a room with doilies on a table for an extended period of time, long enough to make a fan fiction about a 1600 dude, have him have an affair,
Well, this
kill
did it.
himself, and then they're like,
Well, this happened. So one,
Bro,
they did.
did you see that table move? Did you see a trapped non-existent Sue in the corner? Bro.
They did. Well, the whole thing is that they did this over the period of months. They did definitely and well, one of the things too though is that they changed their control or technically throughout, because at first they started with kind of like a bright atmosphere, and then they realized, oh, we're doing it too creepy Victorian era seance-y stuff. We need to kind of make it more. We need to make the vibe better or something along those lines. It's
We need
like,
to
okay,
make the vibe better, bro.
they're-
Let's
they're-
get some tunes on in
they're-
here. Let's
yeah,
get
so
Philip going.
they started changing some stuff. So I'm like, okay, you can't. The integrity of the experiment's not really there anymore. They don't have any I don't know. I never found any documentations or any here's the list of people participating and what they thought.
Yeah.
Everything that I
There
can
wasn't
get,
ever an official write-up.
yeah,
It
and
was-
and the only official write-up that you can probably find would be from that book about conjuring up Philip, which is already in these guys are talking about it. Now, the thing is, though, that the guys, at least their ethos is pretty solid as far as it goes. The guy went to Cambridge and studied a ton of stuff.
And they concluded that it was probably some sort of subconscious group psychosis.
Anyway, that's a Philip experiment.
And with that, I would like to heartily say again, I'm very skeptical.
Yeah. And how about
So
you,
they
Jesse?
just tried to make up and manifest a ghost.
Yes.
No.
No. Final verdict? No.
Okay.
That's a big 10-4 there.
But it was interesting. However, no, they didn't. The cyclical group did not conjure and ghost.
No ghosts, huh? No ghosts
Or
here?
poltergeists, or spirits.
Or birds.
Or eidolons, or any other ghastly gibbous can find.
Well, it looks like we came to the conclusion, didn't we?
Yep.
Over and out.
Another smooth transition into a conclusion here at Skeptical Eye for the Paranormal Guy.
Adios, bitches.